provide neutral grounds for solving problems, and encourage committed advocates for needed change. And whereas, without our community's nonprofit organizations, the cost to our government and our taxpayers to meet the needs of our citizens would be far greater. And whereas local nonprofits are staffed by individuals and volunteers who have passion for their work, who frequently must tap into their inner source of strength and belief in what they do to conquer growing funding challenges, endless hours of work, and unacknowledged and thankless efforts. Whereas Pickens County citizens had foresight in 2002 to approve the establishment of a dedicated property tax to support the work of local nonprofits. We are fortunate that the champion of this funding source, which raises more than $2 million a year, is our own Human Services Director, Nan Sundin. In her position for 25 years, Nan has recently been honored by the Colorado Nonprofit Association with the 2017 Public Service Lifetime Achievement Award.
Yay!
Bravo.
Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Board of County Commissioners is proud to salute all local nonprofits during Colorado Nonprofit Week, March 5th through 11th, and during the entire month of March, and formally encourages Pickens County residents to take the time this month and throughout the year to thank our nonprofits for the work that they all do.
Congratulations.
We have Christina King here. She represents...
Let's get on the microphone.
Oh, so sorry. Christina King. She represents Aspen Strong Foundation. And to her left is Vince Savage, who is the director of Aspen Homeless Shelter. And next to him is Cam Daniel, who works with youth and families at Youth Zone. So we're very happy they were able to come today.
Yeah. Do any of you want to say a few words to the public?
So you need to be on the mic.
Never short of words. I asked some of my staff to join us here, but they were working too hard to join us.
Is this one?
Oh, there's a...
I think I'd just like to say that Nan exudes such humility and integrity in the work that she does, and it creates a really good example for the nonprofits in this community, and I look up to her personally and professionally. So thank you for all you do.
Thank you, Christina. Nice.
Awesome. Likewise, just the support that we get working in your building and from all the other agencies working together. Yeah, we couldn't do it without you and appreciate it.
I forgot to say, not only do we appreciate Nan and Mitzi, but you guys, as a Board of County Commissioners, we couldn't do the work we do without you in your both monetary and your in-kind donations and your general support for things we try to do. So thank you to you guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, and let's thank the taxpayers of Pickens County who support the fund.
Yes. Thank you to the taxpayers for the fund.
So before we go, I just want to expound a little bit on Nan Sundin. I mean, it's really extraordinary to be recognized by her peers for the 2017 Public Service Lifetime Achievement Award from the Colorado Nonprofit Association. 25 years as our Health and Human Services Director and still going strong. I just want to give you a few reasons why Nan was chosen for this honor. In 1991, Nan led Pickens County in developing the Schultz Health and Human Services Building, which houses rent-free 7 vital family and human service agencies. As we heard earlier, in 2002, Nan conceived the idea of a dedicated property tax to support the many nonprofits in our valley and beyond who provide services, programs, and education for the citizens of Pickens County. The Healthy Community Fund generates almost $2 million a year and provides grants to over 70 nonprofits. In 2010, Nan started the West Mountain Regional Health Alliance in an effort initially to address the need for prenatal services for low-income women. Nan has also served on Governor Bill Ritter's Interagency Council on Homelessness. Nan has been successful in bringing together the 3 counties in the Roaring Fork Valley, collaborating with nonprofit and community agencies, government public health and human service departments, and medical providers. and has allowed our region to receive multiple large grants at improving our regional programs and services. Other successful projects which Nan has spearheaded include the Healthy Mountain Communities, Rural Resort Region, and the expansion of Mountain Family Health Centers to Basalt, and most recently, as well as leading Pitkin County in the very recent establishment of a public health department in the county. So Nan has worked just tirelessly for all these years, and your passion and your leadership has just been an inspiration, and we thank you, and I'm sure all the citizens of Pitkin County and throughout Roaring Fork thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, George. This is really nice. This is amazing. A Lifetime Achievement Award is really humbling and exciting and overwhelming. And so it was really fun, the event, the award, having lots of family and friends and colleagues there to celebrate our successes here in the Tri-County region. And, you know, I think what I tried to say, I don't know how eloquently, that, you know, collaboration, the things that we've been able to do, no one can do by themselves. And we're so fortunate here to have really progressive relationships between private, nonprofit, and public sector. And that's because of you all as leaders. The Board of County Commissioners of Pitkin are always, I'm always proud to represent you wherever I am. And so thank you for everything. And thanks for the cake. Thanks for the flowers. And thank you to my work colleagues. We have an amazing team in human services, and we're a family, and we support each other, and we work together really well. Thank you.
Having worked with Dan for quite some time now, and it's ironic that you said you're proud when you represent Pitkin County. Well, we're proud when you represent us. You do such an amazing job. You're looked at with such high esteem around the country, around the state, around the region, and right here at home. So we're really proud when you go out there and do the great things that you do, and we thank you.
George? Greg, if you want to go first. Or?
I just wanted to say we've got, we want to make sure to introduce Mitzi and Lisa as well here today. And it's Lisa Yorker, Mitzi Lettingham with you today. Thank you all. It's amazing to have you up here. And when we see that we have, what, 400 nonprofits in our extended communities?
Hard to get the real number, but
Roughly.
there's a lot. Yeah.
It's a remarkable place, and people notice that we have this very rich environment there. And thank you for supporting it so well.
Yeah, I can only double down on what everybody else has already said here. So, Nan, you've done a great job, and you've put together a great team, and we greatly appreciate the nonprofits in the community. What I would like to add is that as I do legislative matters with CCI, it's a really rapid changing pace, fast back and forth. And Nan always keeps me prepared with the facts and figures I need, any talking points and any insights to try to move those bills towards the appropriate location. So not only does she manage day-to-day work and sorting through federal contracts and federal policy changes, she helps me track the state legislative matters, and I appreciate it greatly. Thank you.
All right, let's have some cake.
All right. Are they cutting the cake now?
So we should probably just take a little break and have some
Yeah, let's
cake.
take a 5-minute break, grassroots.
Want to watch us eating cake?
Didn't want to miss out.
Thank you, George. That's so nice. When they read the nomination, no idea what I heard. When you hit it, it'll
Okay, we're back after a great cake celebration for Nonprofit Week and honoring Nan Sundin. So let's see, John, any additions or deletions to the agenda?
There are no additions or deletions to the agenda.
Great, thank you. Public comment. Anybody wishing to make a public comment today that's not on the agenda? Seeing none, I'll close the public comment and bring it back for commissioner comments. Patty?
Yeah, I just want to thank everyone for a great weekend the great week long with World Cup events. It was really fun for those who volunteered, the spectators, for the racers, for the teams, the crews, the media from around the world. And I want to thank the Aspen Skiing Company, and they pulled off a great event. The park was really fun any time of the day or night that you wanted to be down there at Wagner Park. I think the community really appreciated it, and it was really fun being in a room with people speaking languages from all over the country, trying to understand what each and everyone was saying. But I really enjoyed volunteering for that event, and I want to thank all of those who volunteered along with me. Thanks.
Great, thank you. Rachel?
Thank you, George. As people know, Patty and I are both City of Aspen residents, and our districts include parts of the county and parts of the city. And so I just wanted to point out for any other city residents or citizens that there's a spring election and that they should get registered to vote as soon as they can. I think usually 31 days before the election is the cutoff for that, and that's coming up in the beginning of May. It's really important to be civically involved. I'm sure there'll be some debates the Chamber of Commerce is having and others. But if you've changed your address or moved or changed your name because of a marriage or some exciting thing like that, please be sure to update your registration and participate in the democracy. We all kind of saw what happened when not everyone participates this last November. Thank you.
Steve?
Yes, thank you. I have two different things. One, at the Snowmass Capitol Creek Caucus meeting last night, one of the residents wanted to put out the word about the ever-present fire danger, which this year in Colorado is particularly bad. There was a massive grass fire in eastern Colorado that burned over, I think 7 homes burned down and killed hundreds of livestock. There was the big fire by Boulder that they fortunately managed to put out before it got into a bunch of homes in Sunshine Canyon. There was a little fire on Lower River Road right in Picken County the other day. So just a reminder for people, and this is kind of the season for people burning ditches and burning trash piles and whatnot, that you need to have a fire permit, which you can get, a burn permit, which you can get from your fire department. So in my case, it's the Basalt Rural and Fire Protection District in Elgeville. But then also you need, if you have the permit, then you need to call dispatch and let them know you are having your burn that day, and call them when the fire is completely put out. And they might advise you to not burn the fire that day if the conditions aren't right. So you know, we could have a devastating wildfire right here in Picken County, and this time of year they're usually caused by man's efforts. And then
Steve,
the second,
can I jump in on that for a half second? I really appreciate you bringing it up. I would just point out that Clear Creek County and Jefferson County are both under fire bans. It's red flag warnings across the plains. Although we've had a good snowpack, other parts of the state are abnormally dry. And if you are on a slope that's melted off, it is abnormally dry as well. So not only is it a good time to prevent fires from starting, this is the best time of year to get out and do any mitigation work around your home and have a clear zone and take your own self-preservation and management of your own property into effect. This is really important. The firefighters will do everything they can, but it's somebody who has removed the wood pile from underneath the eaves of their house and gotten rid of any fuel and maintained that clear, safe space that their home is going to survive a disaster. Thank you, Steve.
Good points.
okay, then the second thing, I wanted to give a report. 2 weeks ago I missed our regular board meeting because I was at the National Farmers Union Convention in San Diego, where I serve on the National Farmers Union Policy Committee. And there was one bit of change to the policy this year, which I wanted to read what was added. This has to do with climate change, and this was brought by a friend of mine from the Pennsylvania Farmers Union. And it was a two-sentence part that was added to the policy was, we acknowledge and accept the scientific evidence that clearly indicates that human activities are a contributing factor to climate change. We believe that human activity also has the potential to help mitigate climate change. So those two sentences, and this was passed by people who, even amongst Farmers Union, is pretty progressive, but there are climate deniers there who deny that human activity is a cause of climate change. But they all accept that climate change is happening. But this is an admission that human activities are really responsible for that, and that we can solve the problems of climate change largely through human activities such as better farming practices, burning fewer fossil fuels, replanting, reforesting rainforest areas. All of those could contribute greatly to helping solve our problem.
Thank you for participating, Steve.
Thanks, Steve. Let me tag on to that. I would say that, as Steve said, science has proven that climate change is largely due to man. It has certainly environmental impacts. It has economic impacts. It has social impacts. But it should not be, which unfortunately it is, a political issue. So this should be a nonpartisan issue for everyone to get behind and understand the realities and try to mitigate. The City of Aspen has a policy in hand in terms of coming up with mitigation ideas and programs. Because I'm surprised, Patty, as you said, that it was such a great World Cup finals. The weather was beautiful. The course workers did a phenomenal job in terms of 60-degree weather, which is incredible. But people don't realize, at least different parts of the country, that today's snowpack is tomorrow's water, which is the lifeblood of the West. So, thank you.
And as beautiful it is today, it shouldn't be this beautiful until 6 weeks from now.
Yeah, and just because you mentioned snowpack, George, I recall very clearly a few years ago when the different reservoirs of the state will coordinate their release in the springtime if they have excess water or think they're going to have excess water, because it helps the endangered fish. They prefer to spawn in really turbulent water, and if they can coordinate all the dumps of excess from the reservoirs. And Blue Mesa was one of those that was dumping that year. And then about 6 weeks later, they were in a meeting going, well, we let too much water out because we saw this snowpack and it looked great, but most of it evaporated. It's sublimation. And so, when you have these different temperatures, the snowpack on the ground does not always turn into water in the streams. And so that's something for us to bear in mind, that yearly weather is not the same as climate. Thank you.
Anything, Greg?
Just a quick addendum to Steve's. In this time of year especially, we're seeing extreme rapid changes in weather around here, and there's a lot of the fear I have about fire is driven by wind. We've had some wind events just locally lately where it's amazing how fast it changes the temperature, and it can push a fire. So I think that the fires you hear about going out of control are driven by wind events as well, and this is the windy season. So if it's going to be a windy day, don't burn. Hold back. So that was it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you all. We're going to move on to our consent action items. The first, it's a single reading. It's the minutes of March 18th, 2017 regular meeting.
Okay.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Now we're going to move on to our individual consideration items. The first is a first reading set for public hearing on April 12th. It's a resolution approving quarterly budget supplemental requests. And Connie Baker is here. We had a very thorough overview of this yesterday, so perhaps you could just give us the highlights for the public.
Yes. Yesterday, representatives from different county departments were here to tell you about their supplemental requests for the first quarter. This resolution now officially appropriates those budget requests into the 2017 Pickens County budget. There has been one change on your resolution, and that's why some pages were handed out to you there. The change is on page 4 and 5 of the resolution, starting midway down page 4 where it says transfers between funds. I mentioned this briefly at yesterday's meeting. Public health in our 2017 budget was a new department. We have always outsourced that function to Community Health Services. With the 2017 budget, for the first time, we brought part of this in-house. And being new to the issue of public health, it was mistakenly put as a department of the general fund. But now that we have our public health director on board, she kindly let us know that that's not the right place for it. It needs to be in its own separate fund. So this resolution is simply transferring the different line items that we set in the 2017 budget into its own separate fund for public health. Along with that, we need to transfer fund balance. In the budget process, the commissioners agreed to support public health for a 2-year period out of general fund balance. And the amount that we came up with as a net amount needed in support for the 2-year period was $407,488.
$470.
70.
Oh, I'm sorry. I read that wrong. 470. Thank you. So this amount we will also transfer at this time from the general fund balance into the new balance of the public health fund. And so those are the only changes. Otherwise, it is the same projects that were presented to you yesterday, just appropriating the budget amounts, and you see the change in fund balance for each fund that affects.
Patty?
Yeah, again, I said a thank you yesterday, but I want to thank you again because of my concerns, excuse me, over the last couple of years about supplemental budget requests coming in kind of throughout the year and hard for us to kind of keep track. I appreciate the effort to try and consolidate them. And again, to recognize that there may be times when we need to approve a supplemental budget request out of the normal reporting period. So I thank you for the efforts, and we'll see how it goes this year.
Are there any other questions for Connie?
No.
Rachel?
I would make a motion to approve the individual consideration items first reading and set for public hearing on April 12th.
I'll second.
Okay, and on April 12th, just to, again, really briefly, because we've gone over this, perhaps we'll list the individual projects and the amounts, what they were for, but I don't think we need to on first reading.
Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Thank you, Connie. We're going to move on to our public hearings. These are second readings. The first is an ordinance amending ordinance number 2A 2015 to provide for extension to the term of a lease agreement with Vector Bank, Colorado, NA for the purpose of housing in the office of the Pickens County Clerk and Recorder during the courthouse plaza renovation project.
Hi.
Hello?
Yes, Lindsay Powell. With this ordinance amending ordinance 28/2015, there's the same as the first reading.
So there's no changes?
There's no changes.
Okay, any questions for Rachel?
I'm sorry, George, this is a point of order on the last item. I'm just wondering, Connie, should I have said as amended, that I want to pass the resolution as amended with that new section?
No, because we didn't have, no.
Okay. Okay, I just wanted to make sure the motion was solid.
Because
because she gave the handout that was separate from what was in the packet.
Oh.
So, quick cleanup would just be a motion to reconsider and to change your original motion to as amended and presented
Good point.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry, it just struck me that I might not have said that correctly. I would make a motion to reconsider the previous motion.
And I'll second, since I was the seconder.
So then we just
Okay.
vote on that, and then we make.
Any further discussion? See none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Rachel, for catching that.
I would like to make a motion to approve the quarterly supplemental appropriations as amended with the handout at the meeting today.
And I will second that.
This is a public hearing. I'm going to leave the public hearing open for the next item as well. I don't see anybody in the room except for some library ghosts.
And
George,
this was
one's,
also the,
April 12th.
It's a public hearing.
For this,
Yeah.
the budget item.
that's okay, yeah. We're in the first reading set for public hearing, the quarterly budget supplemental request as amended.
You kind of lost me here.
So there's no public hearing on it today.
Well, there is on this one.
But we're not voting on
We're
this
not
one.
on this one, we're voting on the prior item because we
So,
did the reconsideration.
just to clarify, Rachel made a motion to
Right.
reconsider the budget item, and I think that was the vote that you guys were
just
on
did.
at that point. And now we're moving on to
Do it
the
again.
leases.
No, we have to vote.
We have to vote on it.
I'm sorry, it's a vote to reconsider what you vote. Now you have to
Okay.
vote
First
on
we
the
had to
item
reconsider.
itself.
Now we have to
Sorry.
vote. Thank you.
Yes, so I will make, again, restate the motion to approve the
Okay, I said
quarterly
no.
budget supplemental request as amended at the table today.
Right, and I seconded that motion, so that's what we're voting on.
Thank you. Any further discussion? See none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Back to
Now we're
Lindsay.
I'm sorry, I just missed that the first time.
All right.
So do we have a motion for this first one?
Now that, yeah, we're back to the agenda item for the
Lease
ordinance
agreement.
amending the leases for the Vector Bank. And I just want to say that we separated out the two downtown leases for the clerk and recorder's office. So this is the first lease agreement for the Vector Bank house, or space that we have leased. And I'm going to make a motion to approve.
Second.
And this is a public hearing. Anybody wishing to comment on this? I don't see any, but I'll keep the public hearing open for the next item. Any further discussion on this one? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oh, boy, we got through that one. Okay, the next is an ordinance amending ordinance number 28, 2015 to provide for an extension to the term of a lease agreement with James E. Cox Living Trust for the purpose of housing the office of the Pickens County Clerk and Recorder during the Courthouse Plaza renovation project. Any changes on that, Lindsay?
Nope, no changes to that one either.
Any questions?
Well, just for the public, both of these extensions are so that we will have offices until the renovation, the construction of the new facility is completed.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve. Oh, it's a public hearing, too.
That's all right.
I can second that.
Second, you certainly can. This is a public hearing. Anybody wishing to comment on this? Seeing none, I'm going to close the public hearing and bring it back to the board. We've got a motion, a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
Boy,
you.
for a short agenda, we sure sort out a boondoggle in this.
Well, we still have open discussion, you never know.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to move on to open discussion. John?
I don't have anything for you today.
Anybody else have anything for open discussion?
Was there something yesterday we were going to hold over for today, or did we clear everything up? I can't, it was so long ago, I can't remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have any open discussion.
Okay, so with that, I would accept the motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 What time
Thank
is
you,
it?
Grassroots.
12:39, and we even had cake and
We
got
had
out of here
cake and
before
it's
1
still-
o'clock?